We are now going to present the Ronald Reagan Leadership Award, but before we do, we want to direct your attention to the Jumbotrons for a video we're going to show.
I've known Richard Viguerie for about 40 years. He's one of the genuine pioneers of modern American politics. The fact is, he really invented the use of direct mail by Republicans and by conservatives. He funded the entire rise of the conservative movement in the 70s. He was a strategic leader about ideas, about campaigns, and about what conservatism should be all about. And he's retained his excitement, his interest, his patriotism, and his commitment to the cause of conservatism for all of these years. I think it's great that he's being recognized because he is a genuine pioneer. Somebody who went out, figured out some very complicated things, worked out how to get them to work, and then applied them to a cause he believed in, a cause that I'm proud to have worked with him on, the cause of conservatism in America. So, Richard, congratulations.
I think it is very fitting tonight that we present the Ronald Reagan Leadership Award to Richard Viguerie, because while Ronald Reagan provided the prophetic voice, there is no question that Richard Viguerie was the founding funder of the modern conservative movement. He was literally present at creation. Shortly after Bill Buckley and a group founded Young Americans for Freedom in 1960, he was one of the first executive directors, helped build that organization, helped lay the foundation for the volunteer network, for the Barry Goldwater campaign in 1964. And in 1965, after that defeat, when many people thought the Republican Party was finished and dead, he founded the Viguerie Company, and it began when he went to the Secretary of the U.S. Senate office and copied by longhand the names of 12,500 Goldwater donors. That was the beginning of an effort to bypass both the Republican establishment and the liberal media by building a vast network of organizations that constituted the modern conservative movement and bypassing the leadership elites by going after small grassroots donors. In the next 58 years, he has mailed over 4 billion letters. He has raised over $7 billion for conservative and Christian causes. He has generated over 75 million donations to conservative and Christian organizations and has built a gold-plated list of over 10 million conservative donors today. He's raised money for organizations and helped launch organizations ranging from American Conservative Union to Moral Majority to National Right to Work to NCPAC, the National Conservative Political Action Committee, to the Moral Majority, and to Faith and Freedom Coalition and Hillsdale College. Richard Viguerie was one of the first people I called when I founded Faith and Freedom Coalition in 2009. He has partnered with us to build a donor and support base of over 2.7 million donors and activists and supporters all across this country. Today we face a very similar challenge. We face a big challenge of, on Act Blue, the liberal online donor platform, over 83 million donations in 2022 compared to only 30 million Republican or conservative donations, and the liberal and Democratic candidates raised over $2.2 billion online to only $1 billion for Republican candidates. We're only going to be able to bridge that gap by doing the kinds of things today that Richard Viguerie has done throughout his career. He is my friend, my collaborator, and for over a half century, he has devoted his entire adult life to building this movement. And that is why we are honored, on behalf of the Board of Directors, of the Faith and Freedom Coalition to present Richard Viguerie with our Ronald Reagan Leadership Award. Richard, please come up. I don't know where the photographer is. Where is he? All right, 4 minutes, okay? It's 4 now.
Thank you. Thank you. Because of what Ralph said, I'll just say quickly, my role model is Moses, Deuteronomy 34, verse 7. And Moses lived to be 120, and his eye was not dim, nor his vital forces abated. I tell the liberals, look out, Viguerie is just getting started, okay? Ralph, I can't think of the words to adequately express my gratitude for this great honor. I'm really humbled to receive the Ronald Reagan Leadership Award that my name appears alongside Phyllis Schlafly, Beverly LaHaye, Bill Bennett, Doctors Jim Dobson, Pat Robinson. That's something of dreams. And Ralph, when I wake up from this dream, I'm not giving it back, okay? In a few minutes, Ralph said 4, but I'm going to take maybe a second longer. I've been given this evening, I want to impart one really big idea that's necessary to save the America we know and love. I can turn the pages here. The leadership of every major institution in America is arrayed against our views and values. They're all involved in censoring the news, and we know that. Big tech, big media, Hollywood, entertainment, national radio, TV, the nonprofit community, the legal community, higher and lower education, big business, Wall Street, unions, organized religion, etc. The list includes our own government, the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, now the Department of Justice. Today, it's important to recognize, people, that we're in a spiritual civil war. The left has launched against Western civilization, America, our Constitution, Judeo-Christian moral values, and much else we value and hold. Unfortunately, the enemy, the socialists, the Marxists, are winning. What's to be done? First and foremost, pray, pray, pray. What's to be done? Second, get engaged, help lead. On April 19th, 1775, at Lexington and Concord, shots were fired and heard around the world, and the fight for our freedoms from Great Britain was underway. However, there was something really important that happened that day you may not be aware of. You've all read in school and beyond, but at the end of that day, thousands and thousands of patriots had joined the fight, firing at the British troops behind trees and stone walls. But did you know that there was no military leader in charge that day? No one giving orders. Every patriot was a leader that day. They each rushed to the sound of the guns that they heard. So don't wait for instructions from Ralph Reed, Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson. Rush to the sound of the guns you hear. Pick yourself to lead. In 2004, Barack Obama self-described himself as a community organizer. 5 years later, that community organizer was president of the United States. People didn't beat down his door to get him to run for president. He picked himself, as you can pick yourself to lead. In 2015, a businessman with no prior government experience, Donald Trump, picked himself to run for president. 20 months later, he's president of the United States. Today, our tools are not the muskets of the April 19, 1775 patriots, but they're our voices, our phones, email, talk radio, blogs, podcasts, cable television, websites, videos, social media, nonprofit organizations such as Faith and Freedom. Look at what Ralph Reed and others have done at Faith and Freedom Coalition. They've boxed way above their weight. They box in the heavyweight division, and so can you. Professor Harry Jaffa from the Claremont Institute brilliantly said a few years ago, Western civilization survives because of America. He said also, America survives because of the conservative movement. The conservative movement survives because of a few hundred conservative leaders, donors, and activists. Many are in this room tonight. Each of us owes it to our children, our grandchildren, and generations unborn to get out of our comfort zone each day and become the leaders we've been waiting for. Courage is contagious. Courage is infectious. Courage begets courage. So when you show courage and step out and provide leadership, it'll encourage your family members, friends, neighbors, others, co-workers, church members to follow. Some of you can financially help existing organizations. Others can start organizations. You can become a political candidate. You can support nonprofits. You can mentor young people. You can, as a lawyer, an accountant, a business person, you can volunteer your expertise to organizations or political candidates. Some can mentor young people. Others can start a blog. There are many, many things you can do. You can tweet. You can forward videos. So all of us can be leaders, and all of us must do some of these things. To quote Ronald Reagan, if not us, who? If not now, when? People, we've got a country to save, and it starts with each and every one of you and us. Thank you again, Ralph, for this spectacular award. And thank Faith and Freedom Coalition. I'm humbled and greatly appreciative. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. See you on the battlefield of the spiritual civil war, and don't be late.